So my first story is, it happened last week or the week before. Footballer Gary Lineker says that because of his dark skin, he was racially teased growing up. And it caused a little bit of a conversation.
Oh, come on. Is he joking?
Well, people are saying, how dare he come and join in the black conversation? Why did he contribute to the conversation? What is he trying to undermine what real people went through, real black people go through when it comes to racism and skin shadism? However, I had a thought that, hold on, he basically was on a podcast interview and said he suffered racist abuse due to his darker skin throughout childhood and at moments in his professional footballing career, because he has got a bit of a glow to him, and he doesn't look completely Aryan-like or Caucasian. He looks, so he's Caucasian is white, but
I can send you a photo of me and him together. I would email it to you. Brother is not dark skin, nothing, but that's another.
No, he's not. But he doesn't look. He looks like if someone said he was Greek or Italian or something like that, or in pictures, I don't know. I don't think he looks. I don't.
No,
maybe.
he's reaching. No? I'm so sorry. I love Gary. He's a nice guy.
I mean, I don't know him.
I mean, his ex-wife, the one I told you I did a play with, Daniela. She was Indian, half Indian, but she didn't look. You wouldn't realize she was Anglo-Indian. She was until you saw her with a tan. I can say, because I did a play with her, like I said, 10 years ago at the Hampstead Theatre, exactly 10 years ago, because my youngest one was just 8 months old. She's going to be 10 this year, so, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, you were reaching, brother. I'm so sorry. I like you, but I feel as if when people start jumping into the conversation, say that you dealt with racism, like, I dealt with some form of prejudice. I don't even think you can call it racism, really. So if anybody thinks that this one is being difficult or whatever, I mean, I really don't know, because I've seen him, I've met him. The boy looks white. There's no.
No, I mean, to me, he's white.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
I'm just trying to find a photo because it's on my phone.
I mean, looking at, because he always looked like that's the word, Mediterranean. He didn't look like he didn't look like a typical English lad. He looked like he was Mediterranean. I paid him no mind, no attention, no thought. But I literally thought, if someone said, "Oh, he's Mediterranean, he's got a Mediterranean heritage," I would understand that. And but what I thought was actually, as an alternative, this just goes further highlights how racist white people can be. That even someone who's white, who just because they're a little bit brown and a little bit different to maybe everybody else, you're still finding a way to call. It's like no matter how light or whenever you're the darkest one in the room,
they always find a way to just make jest. Right.
So I felt like actually him saying that, and again, I haven't listened to the podcast, so I'd love to get context and to see if he was doing, I'm trying to join Black Lives Matter, or it's literally he was just making a point to say, I suffered, because that's his truth. So I
appreciate that.
I don't have a problem with him speaking his truth. If he was bullied when he was younger, Auntie Nana, welcome back. We're discussing Gary Lineker's claim, his dark skin issues. And I'm saying, Yetunde is vehemently saying, get out of here, man. And I'm saying, get out of here, man. But however, I personally, when I thought about it, I wasn't really mad. I haven't listened to the podcast, so I don't have context.
I'm gonna try and find this photo with me and him, and it's a 10-year-old photo. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back place
and find it. But I was gonna say that I was saying that actually him speaking out about his experiences just further cements how racist this country can be. That even just because someone has a tan or even slightly different skin, the minute you've got a shade different from the majority of he was in school, so classmates, and he even said in his professional career, racism is afoot. So I'm not mad at him speaking about that, as long as he wasn't trying to say, well, in some sort of ways, he's not trying to say, well, my experience is exactly the same as a black person's, which I don't think he did. The only other comment that he made that was a bit kind of, what are you trying to say, fam, is when he goes, after he said it, he said he was English as they come. So, which meant that, which he's trying to say that I'm as English as they come, meaning white. So people probably took offense to that. And it was that. So what are your thoughts?
I was like, okay, Gary. But then looking at pictures of him, and it is like, okay, to me, he kind of has that like Welsh tan, I call it. Like there's some English people and they're kind of dark, like Welsh people.
Yeah,
like,
I would say Mediterranean.
Romany, like there's a look, and he probably does have. If he went through his heritage, I'm sure there is some Indian or black blood within him. But I would have liked because he experienced that. When there was this whole thing of like kick it out of football and all of the, I would have liked him to have spoken up then when those campaigns were happening and not being in the background like this has nothing to do with me, I'm a white man. Because it's like, actually say, you are white and you still experience some type of prejudice because your skin tone is darker. I would have liked him to have been speaking about this when he was playing football. Now, okay, great, so you're talking about it, but back then when they were really doing monkey charts and nobody was,
he never said anything.
He never spoke.
It would have been really important, especially in the height of his career, if he was coming out and backing up black players, like when John Barnes was going through it.
Yeah, all of them.
It would have meant more. So, not to take away anything that happened to him, but I want the conversation to graduate that he should be talking about the fact that he didn't speak up then and why he didn't.
I'd like to know that. I think what it is, because I have not listened to the podcast, so because things get pulled out and exposed and highlighted, and it's for clicks and likes, and everyone went nuts on. Well, in context of social media madness, people went a bit nuts on it. I wanted to know the context of, because first of all, why was he asked this? How did the question come about? What was his answer? Because sometimes a throwaway answer then turns into something that, and it's like, you should have said this, you should have done like this. And I'm not in no way defending him, but I applied no thought to what he said. I just thought, oh, that just shows how racist this country is. And I kept it moving. But when I saw the backlash and people were like, don't try and jump on the black story, I was like, did he? I didn't feel that, but
yeah, but why now? Why not?
But that's what I'm saying. We need to know. My point is, I don't think
there was all these, like you said, chanting and stuff like that coming forward and saying, guys, I've also been through racism. I appreciate it's not complete prejudice as this is it, but I've been through this. I found the photo. I'm going to WhatsApp it to you now so you can see. And brother, I don't know.
No, because Yetunde saying like he doesn't even look, but to me he does look, as you said, Romani. He looks Mediterranean, but it's more the fact that his difference in looks, people can latch on. We have shadism in South Asian culture.
I mean, this is the photo of me and Gary in 2013 when I did a play with his wife. I'm going to send it to you, and I don't know.
I mean, to me, he's always been a standard white man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This guy does not look any darker to me or darker than anything. So I'm sorry, he's reaching.
A little bit. Like I mean, it's that kind of like, I can only call it Romani because I don't even think you're allowed to call them gypsies anymore. They can call themselves gypsy, but that Romani kind of bloodline that a lot of Liverpudlians have, and a lot of Welsh people, like it's a tanned all the time. Like
he's got olives. He's got to me, if like I said, if someone said he was Greek or Italian or something, he's got a ruddy color to him.
But English people are racist. Like they will chant to anybody that isn't like blonde. They're gonna hear something from football fans. Yeah,
if you're not clearly, and he's got a bit of a nose that's not a straight typical nose. So the only thing for me, like I said, I dismiss things. We get riled. Sometimes we get stoked. We get riled up and involved in conversations that are not that deep. I definitely agree. Where was he? But at the same, I won't say but as an excuse. There were a lot of black footballers that didn't speak up. There were a lot of white footballers young. He didn't give a damn. He didn't give a damn back then.
He didn't.
No, let me not say that. Allegedly, I can't say he didn't give it. I don't know. But also having the tools and the support to speak up as a white man, let alone black guys that were just like, oh, it's all right, I'm going to keep playing. When you've got bananas all around you, banana skins all around you, and people are chanting, you're still going to play. We've talked many times about black players in this country not playing, and they still play. So I'm not putting the blame on black players, but there's a big conversation, and I want to understand the context of why this conversation happened. I need to listen to the podcast. We probably will revisit it.
Yeah. For real. Let's listen to the podcast and actually
I think that's the best thing to do. You're very right.
And see what he said, and then we can speak about it with full context.
Yeah. Just to say the article that kind of came from my perspective was from the journalist, a Guardian journalist, Jason Okunde. And he did say, well, let me see. He is saying,
I generally like Jason's point of views on things. So yeah,
he said, I'm going to find a worthy quote. Ghoulish right-wingers rushing to dismiss his words and tweet Black Lineker's matter, because he got backlash from racists as well, are unremarkable and expected, but it's worth being grateful to the more sensitive reaction from racial minorities, I hate saying minorities, from those who are non-white, who feel insulted or patronized by this story. Certainly the case of Rachel Dolezal appropriating Black identity and claiming to be transracial, or the allegations of blackfishing against Jessie Nelson, formerly of Little Mix, who we've talked about her too, provide evidence of why many have simply had enough of what can seem to be an epidemic of white people appropriating racial struggle. However, he did say, but sometimes not all is black and white. In the case of, for instance, theatre director Anthony Ekundayo Lennon, who
I know him very well,
who has a complex personal story of racial abuse and confusion over his heritage due to obvious non-white features presenting since infanthood, the misrepresentation of his story and false equivalence made to Dolezal felt like a missed opportunity for a deeper discussion about race in Britain. So that's what Jason Okundaye said. The article's in The Guardian. I'll drop it in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
Look.
Yeah, I always like how he structures things, and they're really poignant points as well to highlight, especially like Anthony. Is his name Anthony?
It's Anthony, the guy in the theatre. You said you know him.
Yeah, Anthony Okundaye. I know him because I used to work with his daughters years ago. I used to work in this place called Pelham Bells, and I know him very well. I remember when I first met him, I'm like, why does this guy look so black? Like he's got black features.
Yeah.
And I remember when he said, I mean, we had a deep conversation yesterday. I'm not trying to blackfish, and he said he went back and looked at his heritage, that he's got black in him, and they said it was like maybe 20-something%. Because even his daughters, when you see them, they too have afro hair, but I think I'm not sure if their mum is white or mixed race or whatever, but you could tell when I first met him, and even when he had hair, he did not look white at all. If somebody like that is telling me that, you know what, guys, you know, there's something here, then we haven't, because you can tell. But Gary, I think he's just reaching. But Anthony, 100%, because I also know him. I know who he is. And I appreciate that there was a whole article with The Guardian. At that time, he was working with Tallowa Theatre.
Yeah.
And people accused him of appropriating funds by misleading people, saying he was black, that he took away a space for somebody that was originally black. He said, guys, from the very end, it was him and his brother. And unfortunately, the brother actually committed suicide because of the whole thing. I can't remember the whole story. But it was you know, both parents were Irish. But if you saw the boy, there was no two ways that this guy was definitely, God forgive me for saying, like, you just saw it. Yeah, like, you know when they say throw back or something, but he just looked like, this one, the black was coming out and it wanted to, you know, it was to show itself. And it's just the honest truth. So someone like himself, if he says, I've dealt with racism, and you could tell that he has black features, we can go with that. But when Gary said I've been dealt with prejudice because I was darker skinned, I'm like, Uncle Gary, I like you, but Uncle Yarishin.
I don't. But then, but that's facts, though. I think unless he was lying, that's different. But if he definitely experienced it,
Yeah, but why now? Why talk about?
But that's why we said we will have to listen to it.
Sis, we
definitely do.
Have to listen to it. But I guess I understand the why now. But race is a thing right now as well. So the conversation.
Yeah, very so.
But if it's a thing, I agree. I don't know what I'm agreeing with. He mentioned it. If it's his experience, it happened. For me, it just showcases when we're talking about racism, and as black people, we don't want to believe us. A whole white man with a little bit of a tan is suffering racism. That shows when they want to say this country's multicultural melting pot and we're tolerant over here. No, you're not. You was racist to a white man with a tan.
Yeah,
that's my point. So I've had more people talk about, even if it's 10 years, 20 years too late. Keep talking, because why they keep trying to sweep racism under the carpet and act like we're just making noise and we're fussing for no reason.
True.
Who was I talking to? Someone said that they feel sensitive talking about things, and they're like, oh, we can't say anything. Because I can't remember it was a conversation sometime this weekend, and it's that, like, you can't say anything, and we make a big deal about stuff. Well, Gary Lineker, how about that?